good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show that not only makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck, it makes it stand up on the back of your ass. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Galetta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, accept no imitations, and my partner, Brian, the Ranger Retard, and the good-looking guy at the end, if you remember the promos we have, which you should be watching. It's our sponsor to join us tonight, DJ Mike Velardi. Michael, what's going on?
Nothing much, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you know what? It's an absolute freaking pleasure. All we do is win. What's the streak going?
I'm in a Mike sandwich right now.
Yeah,
I am the meat in a Mike sandwich.
Mike squared. Hey, you can't beat that. So let's get right to. Hey, why don't you talk about our sponsor real quick? Since he's here.
Well, tonight's Sports Box episode is brought to you by this guy right here, DJ Mike Velardi from Mic'd Up Entertainment. And right after the show tonight, you guys in South Jersey, he's going to be hosting trivia live at the Applebee's in Sicklerville, starting at 8:30. Anything you want to tell the group about that?
No, come on out, get a team. You can try and beat this guy. He says he wins every week, but put up a disappointing 400-point performance
that's still
last week.
But that's still won something.
It did. It won something, but
it was not a good week.
Embarrassing.
That was third place.
It's embarrassing.
That's hard.
It was.
We have two teams there.
It was
a
hard week.
I did have one partner.
God.
You did.
Beautiful partner. But,
Anyway, all right, let's get to it. Let's talk about the week in Week 10 in the NFL. What do you guys think?
Well, the one thing that stood out to me is, and I said it on our Sunday show, is you're going to find out a lot about the Saints with what they do in Buffalo. And they pretty much did everything you thought they were going to do. They obliterated that team, and they did it entirely on the ground. I mean, that I think bodes really well for them in the playoffs because for a team that's been known as an aired-out offense that really couldn't do a whole lot outside that dome, they're really proving a lot of people wrong right now. They're playing great defense. They're really running time of possession like the Cowboys did last year. I don't know. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about this in the Eagles-Cowboys segment, but I like the Saints right now.
I think what's more impressive is their defense. Actually, they're playing good defense. We all know what Drew Brees could do, and like you said, outside of that dome, if they could do this, they can beat anybody.
And what stands out to me is, and it kind of goes into this week too, is how the Buffalo Bills have just pulled the plug on Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable how Perriman's starting this week. I don't understand it. If that doesn't tell you that Buffalo wants to move on from this whole thing with Taylor going on every year with extensions and not knowing what he wants to do. I don't know what is, but if you have the Chargers defense, folks, a little tip of advice: pick them up, find them, get them in your lineup this week. So let's talk about Dallas and the Eagles. It is Dallas week.
Yeah.
Dallas Eagles. Mike, I know you got big Eagles fan.
Yeah.
So let's talk about where do the Eagles and Cowboys end up? What's who else can come out of the NFC first of all?
I got to be honest with you. Watching the Rams continuing to flourish, watching the Saints, the Eagles are 8-1, and they had a bye week, and a lot of these other teams were playing. I really do feel that the Eagles need to show up this week. I mean, you might say, "Oh, that's crazy." They're on a nice winning streak. Dallas without Zeke, Tyron Smith probably. I still think that they need to go out and make a good showing in Dallas. But these other teams, I'm starting to get a little scared. I am a little bit.
Yeah, see, I don't know what to. Oh, sorry.
I heard a lot of commentary of how good the Cowboys look without Elliott last week, and I got to tell you, if that's what you took out of that game, I need you to go to your local bookstore, go to Amazon.com, buy Football for Dummies, and read it cover to cover. Start again and read it through because that has nothing to do with what happened to the Cowboys last week. Adrian Claiborne had 6 sacks. You think Zeke would have stopped them? Probably not. It's because Tyron Smith, their all-world left tackle, was out of the game with an injury, and Claiborne teed off. They're not going to be Cleveland if that's what they have at left tackle. So it is what it is. It's nothing to do with the right.
Getting to Mike's point about I think there's 4 teams in the NFC that can come out of there. Like we said, the Saints, the Vikings. You got Seattle and I'm missing a team here. Rams. The Rams is an interesting thing because the Rams are playing good and that defense looks nasty, but you know what? They really haven't played a lot of solid teams. This is going to be the part of their schedule where they really get into the meat of it. They're going to play the Vikings this week. If they can pull that out, they're going to play the Eagles coming up in a couple weeks. I mean, that's when you're going to see, I think, what the Rams are made of. But I still think the Rams can be there at the end. And you know what? Don't count Seattle out, folks.
Nope.
Seattle, nobody's really talking about Seattle. They're not a good road team, as you see. But if you play them up in Seattle, you got problems. I mean, they're a whole different – even though they lost Sherman, they're a good team. Minnesota, although the running attack isn't solid as it was with Dalvin Cook in there, it's doing okay, and they got a lot of weapons to throw to.
They're defending very well.
And then, and lastly, but we talked about it, and hopefully they stop winning because if not, I'm going to have to walk to Texas and kiss Jimmy's ass.
That's true.
In the beginning of the year. But the Saints, they're doing something they haven't done in years. They have a balanced running attack. and they don't have to throw as much in games, so it's balanced out. So teams are playing them a little differently, and their defense is actually stopping people. They're making plays. They're scoring touchdowns.
Well, we've said that was the biggest gap, and it's been that way for years. They couldn't stop anybody, but they're playing really well, and that's not. I will tell you this. I mean, I don't think that they're as reliant on the dome this year because of how their offense is structured.
Yeah,
they were a dome team because they were an air it out team, and they needed that controlled environment.
Yep.
They just went to Buffalo and put up 5-6 rushing touchdowns. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had for years with the Ingrams, and now this year they got Kamara. He's more of a speed guy, getting out to the edge and setting up play action crazy.
Yep.
Nick Nazario, Case Keenum is a fraud. 4 touchdowns means nothing. Teddy is their franchise, big upgrade.
Listen, you can say Case Keenum, he's not a household name, but he's doing it for Minnesota this year. You got to give the guy credit. And if without Case Keenum playing, would you be happy with Sam Bradford in there healthy? I think they'd be struggling.
No.
I think this really is indicative of how bad that trade was with the Eagles.
Talk
about larceny.
That was a great trade.
God, that was crazy.
Great trade for you.
So I'll throw some stats at you guys. The referee this week, just as a side note, Bill Vinovich. And if you want to play the records and things to that effect, Dallas is 7-3 when he is a referee, and then when Eagles have him, he's 1-6. Do you guys take anything from that?
Dallas is 0-1 this year without Tyron Smith.
Was this guy born in Dallas or?
As long as it's not Pete Morelli, I think the Eagles fans they'll be happy.
Well, they can have guns there too. I mean, he's always a show. And Mike, I brought this up for you. The Eagles are combined this year. Their opponents are 33-50. Not that that's horrendous, but it is still a little below. But you know what? That's the whole league.
Yeah,
the whole league's got parity this year.
It's. I mean, like last week, playing Denver. Yes, they had Osweiler in there.
Yeah.
Their defense was still ranked number 1. The Eagles put up a nice offensive showing. Like I said, now you get to the second half of the year. You play Dallas twice. You got the Giants still left. There's a lot of good teams that they still have to show. They have to show me a little bit.
Mike Mataraki from A2D Radio. Guys, don't forget, they'll be on later today, too. AM and the PM is going to be on A2D Radio at 9. Host there, Mike Mataraki. Hey, fellas, the Eagles are 8-1. The Flyers have been shut out in consecutive games. I know you want to rip the Birds really bad, but come on, don't forget them with the figure skaters in orange and black. That's coming up in a couple segments. We won't let them off the hook.
We're not letting them off the hook. Me and Mike are Flyers fans. We're not letting them off the hook.
And I need to bring it up. So, we'll definitely be talking about that.
What a surprise that is.
You gotta pick for the game?
The Eagles game?
Yeah.
I was going to go 27-21 Eagles. That was my first guess. Mm-hmm. I really do think that the Eagles' defense will be much more suited without Elliott. I think that they can key on Dak a little bit, blitz them a little bit more than they would if they had Elliott in there. And I still see the Eagles' offense scoring over 20 like they've been. Mm-hmm. They're on that streak. I don't see Dallas stopping them. I mean, Atlanta, who is terrible, I think, and that's in my opinion. Matt Ryan's having a horrible year. Plus, he's on my fantasy football team.
Well, that's why.
And I can't strike. And I can't stand
it. We say that here on Sports Box Super Bowl hangover.
I mean, Atlanta put up a lot of points on them. So
yeah, well, they won though. They lost that game. Oh shit!
Do you remember
I forgot they were 28-3, wasn't it? Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing, right? As I said, listen, the most important player in Dallas is Tyron Smith, and I think you find that out very quickly. Mm-hmm. They were terrible last week defensively. I mean, offensively with that line because they can't protect Dak. It's got nothing to do with Prescott reading a defense. It's if you can't do step 5 of your 5-step drop before somebody's like this close to your face, you're not going to get a lot of it done. They're going to have to do a little bit better there. The Eagles' pass was great. Derek Barnett might be in Dak's face a lot if they can't figure out that part of the line. And my concern is they're going to try to shift it that way. They're going to try to fix that gaping hole they have there. If Tyron doesn't play, Dez is not practicing. I mean, not for anything. The Eagles are catching the Cowboys at a great time right now.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles win the game, but I don't see a lot from them that breeds confidence. All their big players, minus Dak, are not playing.
What I see is going to be the same thing that happened in Denver. The Eagles did a great job of keeping the Denver defense on the field. Even though that defense is a solid defense and nobody can take anything away from them with Von Miller and Talib back there, they were on the field entirely too long. The offense couldn't get anything rolling, 3 and outs. They were punting the whole day. I think it's going to happen to Dallas too. Even though that defense has come around for Dallas, played a little bit better, the Eagles are just going to wear them out, I think. I think it's going to be 24-17 Eagles, and you guys know I'm not big on saying that, but I just think Dallas can't keep up with the Eagles right now, and I think if anything, we talked about for the show, I think the ass clown is going to blow for him, Garrett. Not that I think Peterson's an unbelievable coach and like a Bill Belichick, but I mean Garrett has been known to lose games before and just tense up or do whatever. And I don't think he's that good of a coach. So I don't think they get it done this week.
I didn't give you a score, but I don't think Dallas wins the game.
Oh, so you're bailing out on the score.
No, I just don't think it. I don't think it matters because they're not going to be able to stop the pass rush from the left side of the line.
Wow. So you're bailing out on the score.
I don't think Dallas scores 17 points.
You can say you can say 2-0.
Sure.
Safety?
Yeah, whatever.
Safety. Nice.
Sure.
Brian's picking a safety.
There are going to be a lot of sacks.
Go,
You know.
Go to your casino and bet that right
yeah,
now.
Whatever.
2-0. There you go.
That's fine. That's fine. Before we move on from the NFL,
yes.
Of course, guys, if you're new to the Sports Box, thank you for the support tonight. We're all on Sunday mornings as well at 10:30. It's our breakfast in the box. Should we break down that?
Breakfast
NFL
in the
games?
box, baby.
So we'll keep a lot of the NFL talk for that. But one thing while I have everybody here tonight is there's been a lot of talk around the area of who's the MVP of the league, and obviously. Everyone wants to say, "Oh, it's Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz." I disagree, but I'll let you make the case. If you have to, I mean, I didn't ask you, but it's your case.
Hey,
John Scola, Eagles are the great white hype. Johnny knows.
Attaboy.
Johnny does know, but he also knows that I'm loyal to my birds. But I'm not blinded by, the success that the Eagles are having. I do think that Carson Wentz runs that offense. Obviously, like you said, with the Blunt acquisition that was overhyped, he's not really what the Eagles hoped he would be, even though he is having a nice year. He's a good compliment back. I do think that Wentz is having a great year. MVP, we'll see. I'll give you that. Let me guess who your MVP is.
We've already talked about this.
Let me guess.
Dak Prescott?
No.
Aaron Rodgers.
That's one of them, yeah.
No, you
Okay.
can't. You can't put that. Well,
But this is
him in
Brian
there.
the Ranger we're talking about.
Yeah.
Aaron
true.
Rodgers and Deshaun Watson. Because those players removed from their teams.
Peter Brooks
and
got
then-
MVP, got hurt. Got an award.
Yeah, but maybe that's just by definition of what an MVP should be.
I agree
It's
with
the
you.
idea is like what is the team without this player?
But if Wentz is not on the
Right,
team right
but
now,
I think
I don't know
how
that.
are they though?
I don't know that because they play in a lot of crap teams. I understand that that's all there is in the NFL right now for the most part.
But do you think Nick Foles comes in and runs that offense as good
27-2. I was told for
Yeah.
years how he was the next great thing
He made
by
a
a
lot of
couple
money.
people in
I'll
this
tell you what,
town.
I think it's a 3-man race. Could be a 4, but I don't think the 4th is getting rolled. I think Carson Wentz is in the conversation because, like Mike says, they are rolling along with him. He's having a phenomenal year. He is playing well, and that kind of kills me to say that, but he's having a good year. The next one nobody really talks about, and I'm surprised, is Alex Smith. Alex Smith was left for dead. They drafted a quarterback high to get him out of here, and he said, "Screw this, I'm not done yet." And this guy's kicked it in the gear. Now, you can't tell me if Alex Smith was out of that offense, they would be playing the way they are.
Yeah.
They're balancing out as well. And the third one, again, not a lot of people are talking about, is guess what, folks? The aging Drew Brees. He is having a good year with the Saints. We left the Saints for dead at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And
They're 0-2,
Right, and there's another guy who, probably, I think you're kind of leaning towards Wentz right now as the MVP, if anything. But the fourth guy I was going to talk about is, people don't like him, but Case Keenum. Believe it or not, Case Keenum is having a great year for the Saints. For the Vikings.
And what's interesting is we mentioned a lot of names. Have mentioned Tom Brady.
No, because it's expected of him to get to that level. Is Tom Brady having a great year? Yeah, they're getting it all together like they normally
We're
do.
getting a lot of
ahead,
feedback in the
fire
chat
it up.
box. Nick Nazario, Russell Wilson, if he plays well the last 6 weeks as MVP.
No.
John
the
Scola-
first 3 weeks he was awful.
John
so I don't wanna hear
Scola,
that.
Watson was the winner if he didn't get hurt.
Yep.
Look at Kareem Hunt.
Now, Kareem Hunt
I don't
hasn't
know.
scored in the last,
Yeah,
3
he
or 4
has.
weeks?
He's killed by one fantasy team. Greg Alfonso, so you give a guy MVP for getting hurt? No, but look at the team without him.
Here it comes. Here comes the
Look
Avalanche.
at the team without him.
Yeah.
They are bad.
But you can also say that about a lot of teams.
Nick
But
Naz-
the guy has to play.
Nick Nazario, I agree with Brian. MVP should be most valuable who has the best stats. Without Rodgers, Green Bay's trash. With
You can't
Foles,
play-
the
you
Eagles
can't-
still win some games.
Can't give Aaron Rodgers the MVP when he doesn't play 6 games. I mean, how unfair is that? I don't think that's right. MVP is the entire season. I'm sorry if that's shitty to say.
And the
but
problem is most of the time people look at the team's record as being indicative of
Sure,
the MVP.
true.
So, like, Deshaun Watson, let's say he does play the whole year and they finish 8-8. Does he get the MVP?
no.
That's what I'm.
He
that's-
should, but because
And
he
listen,
turned
he
that
was
team
having
around.
an unbelievable.
Right, he turned that
start
team
of his
around. He
career.
came
See,
in
but
with
if-
four losses with Tom Savage's mess he had to clean up.
Well,
so.
let me counter that. If they finish 8-8 with Watson, then what was he most valuable to? That's like A-Rod, who won the MVP in Texas, and they were dead last. But what I'm saying is, you take a guy, you remove this player off of this team, and what do you have?
But you
Well,
can say
you
that
have
about a
Tom
lot of
Savage
teams.
and
though.
he's awful.
Right, you can say
Yes.
that about a lot of teams. I mean,
And Brett Hundley and he's
and that's
nowhere
why you have
good either.
that's why you have stars and you have
Hey,
backups.
Ryan Hobno did say Bears by 40. I guess he didn't. He was happily wrong about that.
No, and happily wrong about that.
He was happily wrong
awful
about that.
game. Brett Hundley stinks. I think Brett Hundley should be MVP.
No. Sorry. No.
I just can't believe
I'd rather go with James.
I just can't believe you came on tonight and said that the MVP should be a guy who's hurt. I never thought that about you.
Because he is.
I'm
Look how valuable he is. They suck without him. They were great with him.
I will say this is probably the one year in the NFL I've never seen so many superstars get hurt in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking J.J. Watt. You're talking Sherman. You're talking Deshaun Watson. You're talking
Cook.
Rodgers, Cook. You're talking guys unbelievable have been getting hurt this year. I've never seen it like this. Superstar guys.
Yeah.
So.
But that's the league. I mean, it's next man up. So.
I think it's the collective bargaining agreement where they don't hit a lot during the year. I think their conditioning is shit. I honestly do. I think a lot of it's shorts and shoulder pads. They only hit 9 times a year. And I think the conditioning is starting to break down a little bit with these guys. Plus, they're playing Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. That's a lot of football.
It is a lot of football.
Yeah, a lot of the league does not like, a lot of players are speaking out about these Thursday
They don't
games.
like Thursday.
So, for instance, Cowboys play Sunday, then they come around and play Thursday on Thanksgiving again.
Yeah.
What's every year?
Right, I'm just saying.
And I want to know
the stretch. It's only 4 days.
And I want to know who the scheduling guy is to put Miami on 3 out of 4 weeks in prime time. Either a Thursday, Sunday prime time night game or a Monday night game.
Ryan
3 out of 4 weeks.
Ryan Tannehill gives you that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Beginning of the year?
Yeah, not Matt Moore.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you have to have people in your stands to host a primetime game?
No. We love you, George.
Now, you've been fired up today.
I've been fired up all
I've
morning,
been following you on social media today.
Really?
And
Are you a stalker or something?
No, how can... Literally, I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
How can we not follow you on social media?
Well,
He's
Starbucks,
everywhere.
Target, Starbucks.
I would have bought you all Starbucks, but you know what? The closest was 20 miles away.
Folks, if you haven't heard,
So-
Starbucks still not coming to Hamilton. So, by the way.
That's not true. There's some
Or Target.
there's some K-cups to shop right now.
Okay, go ahead. So, what are you going to
So
say?
you've been fired up today. Every time I was sitting at my desk, minding my own business, doing my work, and now my wrist just keeps vibrating. Michael, let a comment. Michael, let a comment. Michael, let a
You
comment.
should put it in your pants. I don't understand that. Oh, that war we had.
So you got into a verbal altercation
I did.
with Sportsbox fan Dan
Don't
Silverman.
even say his name because
Listen,
it's
now,
not
Dan-
even worth saying his name.
Dan
anymore
is a lawyer.
because-
Listen,
go
Dan
ahead.
has said he prefers a Sportsbox to ESPN, and I humbly agree.
Oh, you're the man, Dan.
Right.
You're the man.
Now-
a little blurred, but you're the man.
Okay, but there was a bit going back and forth here.
Yeah.
About LeBron James. Now,
Yes.
LeBron James is a subject I know that you're very passionate about. So
A
one
little
of our
bit.
questions tonight
A little bit.
is, and Dan's fired up. Dan's ready to go. Is where does LeBron rank all time?
See,
And I'll give you the floor.
it's hard to say where LeBron is ranked right now. He's been in the league 15 years. He's not done his career. I'm not saying he's going to go south, but you can't put a guy third right now when his career's not over. If you want to put him up in the top 10 of all time, I have no problem with that. And then when he retires, you put him up in the top 3. But for some people, and again, we're not going to mention his name, to say that he could be better than Jordan,
Right here.
I mean,
He can hear you.
I don't care. How you say that? How is he better than Kobe? We're not talking rings. We're not talking stats because, as we talked about, stats could be misleading. You're talking about the stat you put up there about, if LeBron misses 2,913 more shots, his next shots, that he's still going to have better percentage than Kobe Bryant. Well, obviously, LeBron dunks a little more than Kobe. Not that Kobe didn't dunk, but LeBron dunks a lot more because he's a freight train and he runs down the lane and runs over people and gets to the rack. Okay? When it comes to basic shooting from the perimeter and when it counts, I give it to Kobe all day long. And you guys can agree with me that Kobe and Michael Jordan, during the end of a game, in the last 10 or 15 seconds of a game, would friggin' steal it from their own teammates to get the last shot. LeBron sometimes goes in hiding, gets on a milk carton, and disappears. So that's the one difference I see in LeBron and Kobe and Jordan. And number 2 is Jordan changed the friggin' game. He changed the game with a bunch of nobodies. With Scottie Pippen, he had, Scottie Pippen's a Hall of Famer, great player. Who else did he have? B.J. Armstrong? Yeah. Paxton? You talk about some of these guys, Horace Grant.
Well, as those of us who played trivia last night at Tailgaters and won, we
Yeah,
know they
that's
had
all-
Tony Kukoc
that's
came
all-
from Croatia.
That's all right. I didn't want to go. I was cutting the lawn tonight. That's all right. I didn't want to go. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, Kobe Bryant. You help me out here, guys.
So here's
what do you guys
my
think?
now again. I don't watch a lot of NBA basketball. I don't claim to watch a lot of NBA basketball, but I did watch it.
Oh, you
growing
do
up.
claim you don't watch it. Yeah.
I don't claim I watch any of it at all. Actually, I'm usually watching something else. But here's the thing. It is a lot. Today's game is different than it was when Jordan played.
I agree.
It's a lot different because this is the super team era. To me, and I said this before the season started, it's going to be Cavs and Warriors. Warriors win the title. I've seen this movie before.
I don't think that's necessarily true this year. Mike, you watch basketball. I can agree. The Celtics are playing well.
The Celtics are
and
the real
tell you
deal,
what,
I think.
Don't count the Bucks out.
No.
The Bucks are loaded up. They just got Bledsoe from Phoenix. I think the Bucks could make a little bit of a move. But like you said, it has been kind of stagnant for a while. But you got the Spurs. You got some different teams in there you got to mix it up with.
But what I'm saying is, again, the game is different because it's a super team era. Back when Jordan played, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't as if there were about 15 to 16 pushover teams that couldn't draft and keep anybody because free agency, everybody goes where they want to. You know, Kevin Durant leaves his team, goes to Golden State to win a title. They all conglomerate around these teams. Dan's talking about the Wizards, Cavs.
Keep that Wizards in there.
Cavs and Warriors, okay? Yeah. Period. We already know this. When Jordan played, there actually was some question who would actually come out of it. I mean, the Knicks were a good team back then. The Pacers were a good team back then. It wasn't as if there were just a couple teams that you knew were in the circle that could do something.
Right.
So the problem that I have with the rings argument is I genuinely feel it is easier to win a ring now than it was back then because there's just less competition. There's less things that can go wrong. You're one of a couple of teams that has a shot right now, a very small handful. Back then, it wasn't as much.
And I'll give you another thing about the whole LeBron thing, and you're going to think this is a little weird, but I think this is actually true. The Michael Jordan era, you know, Jordan, and we all know, got away with traveling. A lot of guys get away with the carry in the league. I mean, if they called it all the time, the league would be stopping every 5 minutes. So then Kobe came along, face of the NBA. They stuck with him. They let him, let him get away with stuff, the offensive fouls and stuff. But you talk about LeBron James going to the basket. There's times where there could be a guy standing there for 15 minutes and LeBron come running and just absolutely take his face off, and they call a defensive block when it's an offensive foul. I think that goes into it too. But if you're going to tell me, and I know they do this in the NBA, they rank a dunk like a shot, that's fine. But to me, a true stat is a shot is a jump shot and a dunk is a dunk. I know they'll never separate it, but it's a big difference when it comes to LeBron and it comes to Kobe. Because Kobe loves to shoot from the perimeter.
I'm going to throw my 2 cents in.
Go ahead, fire it up. Fire it up.
Dan,
get him a plane and get your ass here.
I got your back, Dan.
Oh, Christ. Here we go.
Now, although I do feel Jordan is number 1, I disagree with Kobe being number 2. I think that LeBron is, I wouldn't say by far better than Kobe. He's like a man amongst boys out there. He really just takes over a game.
Dan, so come on, Velardi.
Coming back to your point, though, with the super teams, that's something that I don't like. I don't like this year. Paul George and him and Harden getting together. They stunk.
Everybody's doing it now.
To start the year out, they weren't good. Yeah. These teams think that they could put all these guys together, and that's something that I think that LeBron made famous with him, Bosh, and Dwayne Wade going to Miami. Right. How many finals has he been to in a row? LeBron 6 or 7.
But
in a row.
Also
that's a pretty good.
Oh, without a doubt, it is
because it's easy to get there.
But
there's no competition.
Well, that Eastern Conference, Mike, stinks. It has stunk for a little while. It's starting to get
going to make the playoffs this year.
There we go.
But is that really?
But it is getting better. It is getting better. But in the same sense with LeBron, how many super teams did he have to put together to go to that final? Okay, he went to Miami, took a super team with him. He went to Cleveland. He had to bring, Kyrie with him. He had to bring Kevin Love. He had to bring all guys with him. I'm not saying he has to go there and do it with a bunch of scrubs. I'm not saying it all, but to go to a team and ask them to load up and get 2 or 3 or 4 guys that are great compliments or all-stars for him, I think it tarnishes you just a little bit. I'm not saying he's a bad player.
I think in 4 to 5 years, when his career is almost, he's 33 right now, 34,
30,
I think.
I think he's 33, yeah.
At the end of his career, I think that he could possibly unseat Jordan as number 1. I do.
Two good points. Jordan went to college. LeBron did not.
True.
That's 4
and
more
he
years.
played at 18 years old. He came in the NBA.
A lot more statistics that LeBron's going to have a chance to get to that Jordan never did. And secondly, one of these unfavorable things that has come from the super team era is who was it that signed with like Mike Conley? Signed some ridiculous $150 million contract. Yeah. The problem is these teams have to give max contracts to players who are terrible, average guys, because they have to field the team.
Robert Covington's the next one who's going to get a big contract from the Sixers.
It's just, that's an unintended consequence of this whole thing.
Look at Mozgov. He played 3 minutes for Cleveland, and he went to L.A. for $54 million. That's what happens. It's the way
Tim Hardaway, $71 million. Thank you, Dan. But that's what it is. You're seeing these teams have to really just open up the purse strings so much to compete. Mm-hmm. And it's just not.
It's just the way the NBA is. Listen, like you said, from Jordan to now, it's all changed. The NBA is different. And then, I don't know what to say. I mean, I would be dumb to say LeBron's not a good player. LeBron's a great player. I just think you're putting him in too high of an esteem right now over a guy who changed the game. And am I a Jordan lover? No. I like Michael Jordan. I saw Michael Jordan play. I just think he's that much better than everybody else right now. And listen, Kobe, I think is number 2, but Kobe's way behind Michael Jordan. He's not going to pass Michael Jordan anytime soon. So
we're talking about guys right now who scored a lot in their professional careers, right? Now you know who's not scoring a lot right now is Philadelphia Flyers.
Well, actually, before we get to that, I want to talk about the guys who have.
I'm sorry. I love that segment. Okay. I just wanted to use it.
You know what? Let's go right into the Flyers.
You sure?
Go ahead. Just trash the Flyers.
So the Flyers.
Yeah, go ahead. Just throw us out. Let's just go with the Flyers. You're going to be an asshole. Okay, go ahead. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's talk about the Flyers. How shitty they're playing, okay? 5 fucking shutouts in 18 games, okay? What the God's name is going on down there at the friggin' Fargo Center? Is it the Fargo Center?
Wells Fargo.
I don't even know what the hell it is. I'm so fucking fired up anymore. We thought me and Mike coming into this season it was going to be goaltending issues. They can't score. Simmons looks like he's skating in the dark out there. Claude Giroux looks like the old Claude Giroux of old, not getting it done for his team, stepping up. Voracek's actually doing okay. Their defense is good. Their goaltending is okay. But, Mike, what's going on? They're not scoring. They can't put the biscuit in the basket.
I tell you what, I watched the game the other night while we were playing trivia, and I didn't even want to watch it. It was so hard to watch. I mean, in the first, 4 minutes, Provorov gives up a puck.
Yeah,
and
it was actually the first 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, first 12 seconds. Yeah, you could shut the game off and went to bed.
I was giving him
That was it.
It was over.
And now he's not, I wouldn't say he's the problem. I do like their young defensemen. I like Moran if he ever comes up, if they ever play him. But like Brian's always said, I got to give him credit. He's right. Should have traded Giroux 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
How about Couturier?
He's actually having a decent year right now.
Yeah, he blows. He should have got traded. He should have traded about 3 years ago. And listen, this team better not turn into the Phillies where they're keeping guys just for PR moves because they need to get rid of some guys. Hextall's done a good job, but he needs to get rid of some guys and get some value and start this process off on the right foot and get some scorers in here. Because, I think you should have got rid of Simmons last year, to be honest with you. Simmons is having a great year. You could get a lot for him. Their youth movement's on. He's not going to be here when they start winning, in my opinion.
It's interesting to me because they find ways to beat Chicago, to go into St. Louis and beat the Blues, 2 of the upper echelon teams in the league.
And lose to Minnesota twice
They find ways to lose to the Coyotes, the only win the Coyotes had so far this year, I might add. Yep. They find a way to lose to the Avalanche at home.
Mm-hmm. Avalanche has to have a good
Haven't scored a goal in 2 games.
Yeah.
It's just an interest. It's signs of a bad team.
I just want to see them win again. Like be a good team.
Well, tomorrow they play their boy Mason again in Winnipeg. So watch him shut down.
No, Steve Mason's terrible. No, but here's the thing.
Oh,
so
on the table, you can kick me.
No, we're just talking about. First of all, you're the one. I haven't even said a word yet.
I am angry.
I haven't listened to anything that inflammatory.
Because my team stinks. I'm sorry.
No, but to the point that you made, I think what you're seeing right now is absolutely why they should have traded Drew a couple of years ago. It depends what you're trying to do. Are you trying to sell tickets or are you trying to win hockey? Because they're not going to win right now. The team's not built to win right now. And every game that Claude Giroux plays in a Flyers uniform is one less he's going to play somewhere else where he could have more value.
But he doesn't have value now.
I disagree with
value.
His contract is the problem.
Right.
Well, and a lot of these big contracts
are the problem. The Flyers bring in guys and they're loyal to them. All they do is give them no trades. And that's what the thing is.
The money in the years.
Well, the years.
Is more their problem.
But they also give them a lot of no trades. Holmgren was known for that for years. How long it took him to get rid of Cavalier? Pronger. Some of these guys had no trades.
But you and I both know that the only reason why McDonald's on the team is because of his contract.
Yeah.
Right? They would have got rid of him 3 years ago.
Right.
But those are self-inflicted wounds. As a Ranger fan, I know this very well. I know how this works. But that's their own fault. That is their own doing.
It is.
And you can't just walk away from these guys.
No.
I disagree with you in that I think Giroux does have value in the trade market, especially if you're willing to hold some of the contract.
That's the problem.
That's the only thing you're going to have to do. Yeah, it's going to have to get that money.
But what you're basically doing is you're buying futures. And for a team that's so young, they really are in certain aspects. I mean, yes, the goaltending is a question mark. They're going to hope one of these guys, like a Carter Hart's going to materialize. I think he's the most important prospect they have. Is Carter Hart. Because if that doesn't get fixed, everything else doesn't matter.
I'm not saying anything about the goaltending anymore because they haven't had a goaltender since Hextall, and the process they keep going through is painful. So
you can't trust that process.
They got 4 process. They got 4 goalies that they like, but who knows? Corey Hart is the one that they like.
But then I go back to the defenseman now, and you even said it yourself. A lot of these guys are starting to play now. and they're getting time.
Hague's doing well.
Sanheim's still getting moved, not playing every game, right?
Yeah, it's just up and down.
Okay,
Yeah.
but so I go back to the whole. There was that rumor deal, and I know it's talked about in the show a couple times. Is the rumor deal of Drouin for Gostisbehere. And I look at this Flyers team right now; they can't score goals. They're having trouble scoring goals. They have a plethora of defensemen. They can't even put them on the lineup right now, which is a really good problem to have. But you deal from your strength, right?
Yeah, they just signed Gostisbehere to a deal, so I don't think you trade him this quick.
Well, that's fine, but this could have been done. But they chose not to do that because it would have been negatively perceived with the fan base. That you're trading away the guy, oh, look, we finally got a young player, and so on and so forth. Yeah. They're not making the playoffs this year. I think I said that before the season started. They're probably making the playoffs next year. They have a lot of work to do. They do. They don't have a goaltender.
No, we've talked about that. The Brian Elliott thing is a fix for him.
McDonald is not terrible. He's just overpaid. If he made $900,000, there would be teams lining up for him. Yeah, but he's not. Everything's relative. Everything's relevant.
Blows. He stinks. Okay, I gotta get Mike Velardi out there. No, I'm not Mike Velardi. I have Brian out there skating to do a better job than to do better than McDonald.
I don't know if I can skate that well anymore.
You can skate better than McDonald.
Dan Somebody Covington, 4 years, $62 million extension.
They just gave it to him?
Dan,
Look at me talking about that.
Dan, real quick, is that news or are you breaking that news?
No.
Just got notified.
Well, today was the first day that he could be signed after, a certain period. So.
How about that? Breaking live on the Sports Box. Sports Box Nation is so awesome, they drop the news for us. Nick Nazario, Brian is smart. Thank you for noticing. I have been beating that Drouin for Ghost mischance Hexall's nail in coffin. I go back to the 2014 draft when they could have talked about trading Simmons in a deal to get the number 1 pick in their building to go get Aaron Ekblad. That never materialized. That would have been helpful.
You know what I'm still mad about? I'm still mad about the year that they had the worst record, and Patrick Kane was sitting there, and he goes and wins how many championships with the Blackhawks? 3?
Yeah, they don't need him.
Joke.
Yes, but that worked in reverse. They won the draft lottery to get Nolan Patrick. Now, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm still mad.
On the flip side, from teams that are not doing well or teams that are, and the New York Rangers are back from the dead. 6-game winning streak into Chicago tonight, trying to make it 7.
I'm going to smoke. I don't even
smoke.
I don't even. I'm going to go smoke. Go start smoking.
You're wearing Ranger blue for him.
Oh my God!
Did you notice that?
Yeah, I threw it on by mistake.
So the Rangers won 6 in a row. They've come back from the dead. You were going to ask me a question about the coaching situation?
Yeah. Well, my thoughts are listening to you as a Rangers fan, and
the preeminent Rangers.
You hear his head getting bigger by the second.
Right, and there's Rangers hats over here. There's Rangers jerseys behind me. I just want to throw up all over the set. But anyway,
it's fine.
You talked about Alain Vigneault and how he needs to be fired. Now they're on this 5 or 6 game winning streak, and you still say that you want him to be fired.
Absolutely.
Why?
You're crazy.
Tell me why.
You're crazy.
So, one thing that my teams have to have in common is they like ass clown coaches, right?
You loved them the last 2 years. You've loved them.
Actually, no, I didn't. Whose contract is worse, McDonald or Rick Nash? No one touch Rick Nash. Here's why I disagree with that, Nick, before I get to that point.
Here we go.
Nash is in the last year of his deal, okay? So he can absolutely be moved, and he should at the deadline. Now, they're talking extension. I am not in favor of that at all. Nick Nash needs to go, okay? We're done. That experiment's over. But no, he's tradable. He's tradable because it's the last year of the deal. You asked about Vigneault. Yes, I want Vigneault fired. This team is winning despite Alain Vigneault. And I'm going to tell his usage of players is the Webster's Dictionary definition of abysmal. Okay?
Haxtell's not far behind.
I just want to know why Nick Holden's getting top-line defensive minutes playing next to Ryan McDonough and not Kevin Shattenkirk. I want to know why Brendan Smith is healthily scratched for about 4 games now. His first month into a 4-year deal, right? I want to know why Anthony D'Angelo and Neil Pionk are down in the minors right now. So Nick Holden can get ice time. And Stephen freaking Camphor. These are household names, right?
Yep.
But they're winning, so people don't talk about it.
Right.
That's going to run out.
Except here at the Sports Box.
But that's going to run. Yeah. But that's going to run out, right? Mm-hmm. They are winning despite him. Mm-hmm. Kevin Shattenkirk is worth every goddamn penny he's getting. He's on fire right now.
Why don't you go
love him?
Shady Deuces.
No.
Why don't you
Shady
that has been a phenomenal move for the
why
Rangers.
don't you go get a ring for the guy? I mean, for crying out loud.
I'm hoping he gives me one.
Oh my God!
But that's not like
You didn't mow me. You want to go?
No, but what I'm saying is that's the one thing they've gotten right is the Shattenkirk signing. That's worked out swimmingly. Everything else sucks.
Well, that's a guy who wants to be there, though. He wanted to be in New York. He wanted to be in Madison Square Garden. So it works out for both parties.
Absolutely. But after their start, to win the way they've had, again, it always happens in New York. The Rangers struggle. Oh, is Lundqvist done? They're not as good as we think they are, so on and so forth. And, it is what it is. But here's the thing. they're winning right now, and everything seems to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Too much Starbucks is melting his brain. Anyway,
I like that comment.
I don't have Starbucks right now because there's not a Starbucks in Hamilton.
God.
Show for a different day. Again, Lundqvist is fine. Lundqvist is not the problem. Lundqvist very rarely is the problem with this team. The problem with this team is the coach does not know how to put people in the right positions to succeed. Okay? So we'll see what they do tonight in Chicago. But
you started this.
They're back. But they're back where they need to be. Pavel Buchnevich was playing fourth line. Oh, let's put him on the top line and see what happens. He's got 9 goals.
Zibanejad's been quiet.
Zibanejad's the number 1 center.
He's been quiet, though, hasn't he?
No, well, he's kind of tailed off a little bit. Nick Nazario, Hackstall played Belmar on his top line.
Yeah,
he wins. Talk about horrible coaching. Thank God Vegas took that option away, or Coots would be on line 3 still wasting away with Raffle and Reed. Mariliano, if you want to send me the Starbucks, I'll give you the address to the show. Send it here. I need it badly.
Oh, God. All right, you done?
Did you want to comment on anything I just said? No. I mean, you wanted to throw things when your team wasn't scoring goals.
No, I got a little aggravation because my team's not scoring. Your team's scoring. You're on.
No, listen, they're playing well. They're playing well, but I mean, they weren't as bad.
We can't get goals. He wants to fire his coach. They're winning.
Yes.
So
they weren't. Listen, they were not as bad as they were with the 1-6-2 start. They're not as good as they are right now. They're probably somewhere in the middle. The problem is, they're gonna, to their benefit, the Eastern Conference outside of Tampa, maybe Toronto, hasn't really been that good this year. Pittsburgh.
Tampa Bay looks like they are legit.
I told him that Tampa Bay looks for real.
And our Eagles
correspondent
Anthony Morella was all over Tampa Bay Lightning this year. He was all over them. He loved them. And
that's because I think him and Nikita Kucherov have a thing.
It's a possibility. Stamkos is having a great year too to start.
Isn't he getting married in a little bit?
He is. Congratulations, Anthony. Tampa looks great. But what I'm saying is, if you look at the Metro, for example, a lot of the teams that are normally the powerhouse of the division, I mean, Columbus hasn't been on to a great start. Pittsburgh is struggling. Right. The Caps, as your fantasy team knows, are struggling. Oof. So it's not as if this start has hurt the Rangers all that much, but they can't let it go. They have to play better hockey. I think that they will. We'll see. I think they're a playoff team, but I think they're a first-round exit. It is what it is.
Before we get to, I was just thinking about something. Did anybody see that Cam Newton press conference last week?
I try to ignore Cam Newton as much as I possibly can.
Where he said that as we go as the Titanic goes, does he realize that the Titanic is one of the worst U.S. natural disasters in history?
You know what? Hold on. Whoa. That's a pretty prescient comment. Because they blow.
We go as the Titanic goes?
They're going to sink.
Was that
They're going to take a lot of people down and
sink. What was worse, that or Jameis with the W in the mouth?
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, no, I already.
We're going to eat a W? We're going to eat a W. Yeah, what? Eat a W.
Steel crab legs.
Or steel crab leg. Yeah, you do that too. Actually, we didn't even talk about the 3 boys in UCLA. Namely, one of them a ball, stealing. That's smart. Let's go over to a communist country and steal.
But did you see President Trump got him out?
Got him out. Yeah.
President Trump.
Yeah, that's 2 to 10 years. You get busted over there for that.
That's right.
What the hell are you guys doing? Are you kidding me?
Nothing else better to do with their life.
Oh my God! For sunblock. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm sorry.
It's they feel entitled, I guess. So
anyway,
we're gonna get to our buy with Burn question of the day, brought to you by Dave Birnbaum with Remax Community. Make sure you contact Dave for all your buying and selling or renting needs in South Jersey.
Hey,
that's
Speaking of Dave, we will have Dave in another contest with myself, basketball.
It's coming, guys. It's coming.
It's going to dunk over his fat ass. That's all right.
Recently, ESPN did a 30 for 30 on Ric Flair, all-time great wrestler.
Woo!
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Woo!
I thought it was extremely well done. I really, really enjoyed it. I watched it with my wife, who is as much of a wrestling fan as I kind of force her to be in a way, because she watches Raw and SmackDown every week with me. But she is interested in the soap opera aspects of it. But she enjoys it for what it is. And she was in tears.
Yeah.
The whole story about, Flair and his son dying and everything. I mean, that was really, really, really well done. Your thoughts?
No, I thought it was very, very well done. His early on wrestling life, and then it got into, his son, who obviously started to be in the business and, had some complications with some drug usage. And but I also thought that he showed a lighter side of himself that, you don't see much of athletes having. Mm-hmm. And Charlotte, who is Ashley in real life, actually said that she wouldn't have done that. She wouldn't have gotten into pro wrestling if it wasn't for her brother.
Oh, sure.
But I really did think it was very well written. I watched it the first night it came out. I was excited to watch it. Flair's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, like I said, it's just extremely well written, and I thought it touched exactly what it needed to. It didn't go above or below what the expectations I had.
Now, coming from my side, I'm not a big wrestling fan now as I was when I was little, but I liked the story about Ric Flair. It was good. It was interesting. It kept me, informed about it. I looked and I was interested once I started watching it and seeing all the stuff that went on in his life and how he was, partying all the time, how he was drinking. And the doctor said, "How are you still drinking?" He's like, I'm doing it. I'm drunk all the time. It was interesting to me. I thought it was really
the
good.
guy was on life support 3 weeks ago.
Those 30 for 30s. I mean, they're always really awesome. Well done. But the Ric Flair was very good.
Absolutely. So the buy with burn question of the night is: what pro wrestler, whether it's current, old time, whatever you think, who's the next guy that you'd like to see a 30-30 done on? I'll defer to you.
We were talking about this before the show started. I would love to see one on Scott Hall. I think that would be, it would just be an awesome thing. Obviously, you've seen pictures on the internet. So he looked bad 3, 4, 5 years ago. I think he turned his life around a little bit now, and he actually looks halfway decent. But I would love to see where his career started at to now, of course.
I think I could go with the Ultimate Warrior, or that or Randy Macho Man Savage. I think the Warrior would be good in the sense of how he made up with McMahon after a period of time. He got into that whole argument with him for a while. He was out of the league, I think, for a little while, out of the federation for a little while. And then Randy Macho Man Savage is a good one too, because here's a guy who was really a nobody when he started out and got to the height and unfortunately cut short by a Jeep accident. But I think that would be a good one too.
And I think the most hardcore fan of the three of us, I'll give you two names, and I think it's mostly from my hardcore. Kurt Angle would be a fantastic one, given his personal life, what he went through. That's there you go.
There you go. See that?
Kurt Angle would be interesting just because of what he went through, but also Paul Heyman.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Paul Heyman, the mind behind ECW, and if you remember what that was and what WWE turned into, ECW changed the business. ECW pushed WWE and WCW the directions that they went. Even Eric Bischoff,
Speaking of that, tune in for Sunday when one of us drops Brian through the table. We're gonna light it on fire.
Now, why do you got why?
Just like that Bill's tailgate.
Like that Bill's tailgate. That was great.
We'll touch a little bit on if you haven't seen the video, look it up.
Classic.
The power bomb through the table
on the top of the back of a truck bed onto a table that didn't break.
Although you want to watch here because this is solid wood, baby. This is gonna light up. We're gonna just drop
one
right
thing
through.
Before we get to the next topic. Our friend Brian, we did feel that how the Hulkster was humble about how Ric Flair influenced everything that he did in wrestling. We thought that was an interesting thing to take from that.
You know what I actually enjoyed about that is it's hard to explain to a more casual wrestling fan the differences between what WWE was in the 80s and the early 90s to even not so much right now, but what the NWA WCW was. Because it really was. These were like superhero type guys. I mean, it wasn't necessarily about the in-ring type stuff. Whereas again, NWA, WCW, those Flair, Dusty Rhodes matches would be hour long, and there would be no winner. These matches on Raw are like 3-4 minutes, and guys are winded. It's a different world. Survivor Series this weekend, but actually before that's NXT Takeover. If you guys have the network, the War Games match, highly recommend that. It's going to be fun. 2 rings with a cage over top. It's going to be great. But
so brush up on a little housekeeping here in the NFL before we get out of here.
Go ahead.
Rodgers going to be back? You think? Will he be back? There's rumors that he will be back.
No.
I think mid-December.
They'll be out of it by that point.
If they're still alive by mid-December, could he be back? Would you bring him back?
No.
If they're not still in the hunt by mid-December, you wouldn't bring him back at all?
No, that's the point. But I wouldn't.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, but just a little talk about Survivor Series, the event this weekend. Obviously, the main event. There's some things going on upstairs. The main event's going on upstairs right now, but
I think War Games started already.
War Games started with your kids. Oh boy,
kids are wrecking the house.
So it's an interesting pay-per-view.
Yes, it is.
It's Raw versus SmackDown. They're trying to play off this us versus them type thing. I don't know how over that is personally, but we'll see where it goes. The main event, and they've been changing titles.
But we are happy that Jinder Mahal will not be in the title match.
Yes, so obviously, you guys, Jinder Mahal lost the W Championship to AJ Styles, much more deserving. The main event is Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, versus AJ Styles, the WWE Champion. There's gonna be a better match. I don't think anybody really cared about the Lesnar Mahal perspective matchup, so I'm more of a fan of the AJ Styles versus Lesnar matchup. You have maybe a winner in that one?
Yeah, I think Lesnar.
Yeah.
Lesnar.
I would agree with you. I think,
Really?
I think they're setting this up where they're going to make Brock look superhero strong just in time for Reigns to be in a WrestleMania.
There you go.
That's where I think.
Keep saying his name.
That's where it's headed. That's where it's headed. But the one match I think you probably will enjoy more than others because a little more nostalgia in it, a little more from when you watched younger years, is the 5-on-5. Well, you said it yourself. The 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Team Raw and Team SmackDown. Kurt Angle's in the match. Shane McMahon's in the match. John Cena's in the match. Triple H's in the match. A lot of guys, from yesteryear coming back to make us a pretty interesting card.
I like that.
Pretty interesting card. I think there might be some interference in that match. Will Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, possibility.
I see that going. So.
All right, well, good show, boys. That was very nice.
Anything else you want to touch on?
No, not really. I'm pretty good. Mike?
No.
DJ Mike Blaine, want to talk about your DJing? Or?
Yeah, I'm about to leave the house now to go do a live show.
Hustle
at
up there.
Sicklerville, Applebee's on Cross Keys Road. Start time is 8:30. I got some of my boys coming out.
Yep.
I don't think you will be there tonight.
We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see.
So before we get out of here, you can always get the Sports Box on social media if you need to.
If this is your first time watching the Sports Box, thank you very much. Make sure that you like our Facebook page so that when we do a Facebook Live broadcast, you're going to know about it. We're also on Twitter at Sports Box Show. And, of course, we have a YouTube channel that we need to show a little more love to, and we will. We're going to get a lot of stuff posted there as well. And, again, all of our content brought to you by DJ Mike Velardi from Mic'd Up Entertainment. Call him for all of your event planning needs. And, of course, he does host Quizzo twice a week here in the South Jersey area. It's a lot of fun. If I'm not playing, you might win. So give it a shot.
Don't forget to also interact with us on Sunday morning for our brand new show, Breakfast in the Box. We go every Sunday at 10:30 in the morning, and we'll do every Wednesday. We're going to get a time for you. Make sure we can get a good time for you.
And special thanks to Mike's next basketball victim, Dave Birnbaum, with Remax Community. Tonight's question sponsor of the show. Make sure you look him up, #BuyWithBurn. Hopefully he shared the show link. We'll see if he
Wait till I do Chris Webber and elbow him right in the face. That's good.
Yeah, can you be like semi-pro? Can you get like those wrist, the headbands?
Rec specs.
I want to wear a mask, just the plastic mask, so just in case. So. All right, great. So anyway, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. And remember, at the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters. Wow.
Oh,
I know.
Wow.
The only opinion that matters, folks, is right here. Will you brush up
It's
on
right
that?
here.
I was setting it
You
up
didn't
for
say it.
I don't want. That's your tagline.
Oh,
it's not
my
mine.
God. All right. The only opinion that matters.
It's right.
It's right here.
Oh, my God. So,
I see now.
I got it.
It's right here. Not here. It's right here.
This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velardi. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.